This is Tech Pulse.
Tech Pulse. X1 will allow one gold Xbox Live subscription to be shared throughout a household. MSI AMD Richland A10 gaming laptops are priced and ready for launch. Samsung Galaxy S4 headed to Virgin and Boost Mobile next month. And Netflix says that BlackBerry just doesn't have enough volume. All this and more today on Tech Pulse. What's up, everybody? Today is May 23rd, 2013. We want to thank everyone for joining us today on Tech Pulse. This is the show where you get all your news, all your reviews, everything dealing with the tech world. We give it to you in these bite-sized little bits of chunks that you can understand and you take with it throughout your day. So we're going to jump right in. Now, as many of you know, Xbox had their big launch, if you will, a couple of days ago. That's when they had their, I won't say big launch, but they had their conference on what the new Xbox was going to be. Microsoft had this conference out there in California as to what the new Xbox was going to be. We learned a little bit things, and since that launch day, we've had some more rollouts in terms of things happening with Xbox One. We had that rollout with information coming your way. So we're going to talk about the Xbox One allowing one gold Xbox Live membership to be shared throughout the household. Now, previously, early in the year, Microsoft discontinued its Xbox Live Gold Family Pack. That was an option for families to purchase multiple gold memberships at a reduced rate. So what happened was I had a Xbox Live subscription, and if my wife wanted to have an Xbox Live subscription, she could too, but at a reduced rate. It wasn't a family plan in terms of I have an Xbox Live so everyone in the family could share it. No. Everyone have to have their own Xbox Live subscription, but if you do it in a family package, you get a different rate. Kind of like if you buy in bulk. You buy in bulk, you get a different rate than if you buy singly. But Microsoft did away with that. With the Xbox One, they're saying that it now appears that it's making the decision to allow one membership. So if I have an Xbox Live subscription, anyone in the household can now use that Xbox Live subscription. That's coming out of The Verge, a publication that covered the event. Anybody who has usage privilege on that machine can use the Xbox Live subscription. That's what Phil Harrison of Microsoft said in an interview, indicating that the system could be familiar to the family pack method of assigning you Xbox Live Gold to additional account. Discussing the family aspect, Harrison described a way for a father and son to have separate accounts while sharing the same Xbox Live subscription. Now that's key, because I would have my Xbox Live account with my personal setup, and my wife or if I have children in the household, they could have their Xbox Live subscription, not the subscription, but their accounts. So the games they play, the friends they have, all of that would be different in their account than it is for mine, but it's under one subscription. Kind of like, with cell phones, where you have like a family plan, you pay one money for the family plan, and then everyone is on it sharing minutes. You don't pay, you have a family plan, you just get a discount on the service plan. The father has one bill, the wife has another bill, the children have another bill. No, it's all one inclusive plan. You share the same minutes, and you get a discount for the plan, for the family plan, not just you get a discount per subscription. So what Xbox is saying is that they're going to allow people to have Xbox Live membership as a family. Now, will this mean that people, I don't know how Xbox is going to be able to control it to where if I have an Xbox Live subscription, my brother Harry across the country might want to piggyback on my Xbox Live subscription and he get it for free. I don't know how Microsoft is planning to control that to where, since you're talking about a family, you can't necessarily say that they have to live in, you can say they have to live in the same household, but how are you going to track that? How are you going to track that this Xbox Live subscription, unless the Xbox One when you sign up again, has some authentication for that particular machine. Meaning that when you sign up for Xbox Live subscription on your new Xbox One, it will send the information to Microsoft with identification code of the machine on which you signed up on. So if you sign up with 4 family members on that machine, they all have that same tag going to Microsoft. So if someone tries to use Xbox Live outside of that machine, will it raise a red flag and they say, nope, this is not in the subscription plan? I don't know. You know, we have to see how Xbox or how Microsoft is going to control this, because before it was easy to control because I have to have my own subscription. Now they're saying they're going to allow families to have one subscription but different accounts. So it's going to be one bill but different accounts in that subscription. So we have to see how Microsoft is going to do it so that it's not man, lost my train of thought. Not burdensome. That's what it is. Burdensome for other people in doing this thing. So, I mean, when you look at subscriptions, because one of the things I think about when I think about Xbox Live and I think about how Microsoft built this whole thing, they really convinced people that you needed to pay to play games online. You know, I mean, they convinced people that paying for games online, paying $50 a year online was necessary. You know, because there are a lot of people who computer gamers. They're computer gamers and they play online. You know, they've been playing online for years. You know, a lot of computer games have had an online component for years. I mean, a lot of MMOs like World of Warcraft and games like that have had MMOs for a long time. People have been playing online on PC for free for a long time. Consoles didn't have that ability. Consoles weren't online in the older generations. It's just with the advent of the PlayStation, the Xbox with Xbox Live and things like that, when Xbox first came around, it's with that invention of the Xbox and that gaming system and that era of games. That's when game consoles were given the ability to be online. So we have to see if this is something that, although Microsoft was able to convince everyone that paying for games online is really what you need to do to enjoy their games to the fullest, we're going to see how they deal with this subscription plan as far as making sure that it is, you know, doesn't become annoying for everybody, and you really don't stop people from enjoying the subscription wherever they are, because that was another good thing. I could log into my Xbox Live account on anybody's machine anywhere. It didn't matter where I was. You know, is this new system going to tether me to the machine in my home only? We just have to wait and see. These are just some of the questions that Microsoft is going to have to answer going forward with their Xbox subscription. Now, one of the other things coming out on one of the other news stories coming out with Xbox is that we had a story. They were saying that the Xbox, a rumor around was that the Xbox would not allow you, the new Xbox and new PlayStation would not allow you to play used games. That was one of the rumors going around, that these new systems were going to force you to have to buy new games, and the used game market was going to, you know, not be a possibility for these new consoles. Well, one of the issues that we know Xbox has always had, and we're going to get to that used game situation, but one of the things that Xbox has always been is not backwards compatible. PlayStation has always supported the older generation of games and so forth in their newer consoles. The PS2 was backwards compatible with the PS1. The PS3 was backwards compatible with the PS2. And now we're hearing that the PS4 is going to be backwards compatible with some PS3 games. Now, does that mean you're going to have it in their PlayStation Network for download? So you have those games in there and that's how it's going to be compatible? Or am I going to be able to take the physical discs and put it into the new machine, the PS4, and it plays that way? We don't know. We have to wait until E3. One of the problems with backwards compatibility, and this is why some companies have chosen to not go that route. Like Nintendo has chosen to go that route. They're backwards compatible with some of their, with the Wii game. Wii U is compatible with Wii U, and even the Wii was compatible with the GameCube. You could put the GameCube discs in there. You could use the GameCube controllers and all of that stuff. So Wii was compatible with GameCube. Wii U is compatible with Wii as far as changing discs. One of the problems that developers and the research development of these companies have when it comes to backwards compatibility is backwards compatibility limits how far you can go in the technology, because you still have to leave room to cater to the old technology. When you decide you don't want backwards compatibility, you're free to build a machine from scratch, from the ground up, and make it more powerful because you're not considering the older machine. And this is what Xbox has chosen to do every year. They have chosen not to be backwards compatible because they want to push the limits of the technology for that time. They want to push it to its limits. Sony has found a way to be backwards compatible without sacrificing advancement in technology, but it's not easy, because anytime you're backwards compatible, you limit what you can do with future technology. So we see that according to a report by The Verge, that Xbox One again will not be compatible with the Xbox 360 games. So if you were hoping to play your vast collection of Xbox 360 games on Microsoft's latest console, well, the bad news is you won't be able to, because they're saying that they will have no backwards compatibility whatsoever. Now, there's not, when they were posed the question, the system is based on a different core architecture, so backwards compatibility doesn't really work on that perspective, because the Xbox One is totally different architectural-wise than the original, well, not the original, but the Xbox 360. And so that's one of the reasons why it's not going to be backwards compatible. But the good thing about it is that you're going to get better games. You're going to get a better gaming experience, because the architecture now for the Xbox One is more open platform. Now that means that the 360's discs won't work, but also extends the Xbox Live download titles as well. Because now you can download, you'll be able to still download Xbox Live titles to Xbox One. That won't be affected, but the physical discs putting in, you're not going to be able to do that. So anything that was designed for the 360 will have to be rebuilt, and it sounds like Microsoft doesn't plan to do that. So all the original, you can still download games from Xbox Live, but games that were created for the 360 on Xbox Live, Microsoft is saying for now, will not be possible on the new Xbox One. Now, is this a good move by Microsoft? I would say it could hurt them. It doesn't necessarily have to hurt them, but it could, because, I mean, if I have, because a lot of people, they sell their current systems in order to afford these new systems. The problem is that if I have digital content, and this is where, you know, people tend to, you know, get a little up in arms. If I have digital content, right? I have content that I have downloaded. People would want to know that they can still, since it's digital, they can still use that content on the new architecture. But what they don't realize is that even though you might have digital content, which is different than the physical media, as far as the physical media is in your hand, the digital content is in the cloud and you just download it. The architecture, getting it to run on the system, it still has to have the same algorithms and protocols that the disk has in order for it to play in that same system, because the system has to recognize it, the system has to understand it. And since the Xbox One is totally different,